I'm Hannah. I'm one of the vets from LLM Farm Vets and one of the dairy interns. Myself and another colleague tend to do quite a lot of vetting for the Reaseheath flock, and that's how we're involved. Vets get involved in lots of different ways with sheep enterprises, and it actually starts way before lambing. Things we've done for the flock here at Reaseheath this year have involved doing their annual health plan. We've taken bloods from the ewes at different points to see if their diet is right for them. We've checked their body condition score alongside Ant the shepherd to make sure that all the ewes are in good condition, and we've checked for any lame ewes and treated any ewes that have sore feet. And one of the things we've done this year, which is different to previous years, is we've tried a new way to bring the lambing period to be shorter and to bring it so it matches up with lambing live, to make sure that we had lambs on the ground for you guys to see. And that takes a lot of planning, and we were actually planning this lambing live event way back in August with the vet involvement to make sure we had lambs on the ground. And we did that with using hormones to synchronise some of the ewe cycles, so they were ready for the boys when they joined the party and got in lamb for lambing. And that's one of the ways we got involved as vets. Another way that vets are needed and are involved with sheep is at lambing time. Sheep usually lamb themselves without any intervention, or the shepherds are very experienced and they can solve a lot of problems. But sometimes if the lambs come in very twisted, or they're all jumbled up with their brothers and sisters, or if they're just really big lambs, sometimes they don't fit out normally, and a vet's needed to come and do surgery or other things to try and help get the lambs out and to keep the ewe safe and healthy through lambing as well. I have a little demonstration of how a lamb is normally born. So when lambs are born normally, they come out as if they're diving, so they have their front feet coming forward, toes pointed, and the head rests between, and they sort of, as if you're diving into a swimming pool. We're going to pretend this is a ewe, and this is how it would start, with sort of the lamb's little toes sticking out of the end, and they just come out. You get hold of the feet and you pull, and the head arrives, and you keep pulling, nice and gently, and there's your live lamb. And you'd wear gloves and keep yourself nice and clean, and you'd use lots of lubricant to keep things nice and moist, and the lamb would just sort of slide out normally. However, sometimes it's not that simple, and the lambs like to get themselves nice and tangled up. So that, as we've discussed, this is how they come out, sort of head first. But sometimes you can be unlucky and they've decided to come bottom first. Now you could either come with their back legs, so you'll feel the back toes coming out first, or sometimes they'll come bottom first and all you'll feel is the little tail. So all of these presentations can be quite a handful to get out and have a play with. The shepherds here are really experienced, and they can get 99% of the lambs out just with a bit of gentle manipulation, lots of lube, keeping themselves nice and clean. But on the few that they get stuck with, or sometimes the lambs are really big, that's when we get involved as vets and come and give them a hand. For lambing, you have to be prepared, and being prepared is the best way for success. And having an equipment box with all the things you're going to need handy in the lambing shed is a great way to do this. I've got my handy vet box, but this is also some of the stuff I take when I go and help people with their lambings. The first thing in this box is gloves. So I've got ones that are small on my hands, but then I've also got some longer gloves, and these are really important to keep yourself clean. So you put these on and then keep these nice and clean, so then you're keeping yourself clean, and then when you're lambing, you're keeping the environment you're working in clean. Also in my trusty box is some lubricant. This helps the lamb slide out and helps keep everything slippy, so you can pull the lamb out and it doesn't cause too much tension on the ewe herself. Oh. And in the box is my favourite piece of equipment. This is called a lambing snare. It looks a bit peculiar, but it actually is a piece of wire that's got sort of a soft plastic coating around it. And if you've got any lamb that's coming, sort of as we discussed, if they're coming normally, you're okay. But sometimes their heads can get twisted underneath them, and the heads move around, and it's hard to pull the head up into the pelvis to actually lamb the lamb. So a head snare is a really useful piece of equipment, and you can just sort of secure it around the lamb, the back of the lamb's head, tighten it down, And you'll tighten it into the lamb's mouth so it's not around the neck, it's just resting behind the ears and into their mouth. And it allows you to twist the head up and hold the head steady so it is in the right place to lamb it, and it gets your lamb out a lot faster. And this is my favourite piece of equipment to have in my box. We also have in my box some pain relief. So sometimes if the ewes had a really difficult lambing and it's all been going on a bit long and the lamb's a bit big, it's nice to give the ewe a bit of pain relief just so she feels a bit better, and then she'll be more likely to sort of look after her lambs and produce milk for them. And another thing we've got is called Planipart, but there's obviously different things available, and this can be used by vets to help relax the ewe's uterus. It gives you a bit more room to try and manipulate the lambs that are all sort of jumbled up in themselves. So yeah, that's a whistle-stop tour through a box of equipment, but the shepherds will have loads of other equipment themselves. The thing that actually ended up inspiring me to be a vet was lambing. A family friend had some sheep and I started lambing for him when I was about 13 or 14. I was still at school and I actually wanted to be an engineer. I just lambed because I enjoyed getting out there, helping, bringing lambs into the world, and all of the jobs that comes alongside it. And that actually progressed to me through that contract working on a dairy farm, and then got really into cows as well. And at about 16 I decided I did want to become a vet, to be a farm vet. I did 3 A-levels at my school, so I stayed on in sixth form, did my 3 A-levels and thankfully got the grades and went straight from school to university, and I studied at the University of Bristol. It's a 5-year degree. I retook a year, so I was there for 6 years, but then I graduated in 2020 and decided I wanted to be just a farm vet, and that's why I've ended up with LLM Farm Vets, because they're a really good practice for the area. They have lots of dairy clients and obviously they look after Reaseheath flock, so what more could you want from a first job? But yeah, that's how I got into vetting. But there's so many different routes into vetting. Lots of people don't go straight from school. They do other jobs first, or they do different qualifications first. And later on, we will have discussions about how you can become a vet or many other careers within the veterinary industry, such as becoming a vet tech, a TB tester, suitably qualified people who help with pharmacy and many other jobs in the industry. So watch out for that.